So where I want to take this, look, we're all excited, right? As much as I can't wait, and this is a personal thing for me and my brother to roll through Gears 1. Like that's a brother moment that I had with him that is we talk about it all the time. It's again, it's a goosebump inducing moment for me and my brother. We ran through Gears so many times as a pair of brothers. It was so special for us. So I can't wait for us to do that again with what's dropping on the 26th. But I got to be honest with you. I have not been this excited to play with the community. And I mean, I play Call of Duty every day. I played Halo with the community. I played Titanfall. I played Gears. Something about this collaboration with Helldivers and Halo, more specifically the Hell Jumpers, has me so freaking excited. I can't even begin to say. Like it's there's no words. But you know, I want to kind of keep the positivity of Halo going because, folks, look, 343 Studios, which now is Halo Studios, has had, unfortunately, over the course of the last 5 years, que Asante, more valleys than peaks, right? The studio has had, massive leadership change. They try to put people in, it didn't work. They put other people in, it didn't work. They put other people in, and it didn't work, right? And I've always said that it boggles me as a diehard Xbox fan how you have seen Halo just fall to where it is now, right? Like, if you were to ask someone what are the top 5 first-person shooters, Halo wouldn't even be in that conversation. That's actually sad.
Yep.
If you, I mean, you don't have to be an old man like me to say that. It's the truth. Halo.
But you know what, though, Boom? I would also argue, though, even though I agree with you, I would argue that Master Chief as an IP is like as a mascot or a recognizable franchise is almost like Mario in its depth.
Yeah. Oh no, there's no doubt. Sure. Yeah.
Right, but they don't, unfortunately. So it's become what it is. Yeah,
become a meme, so to speak. Yeah. Well, the reason why I said all of that to say, right, that's an Everborn famous line. Mint Blitz. You know who he is. He this guy is a Halo freak. I don't think there's a bigger Halo fan than him. Maybe Rebs Gaming could give this guy a run for his month, right? I actually believe, ladies and gentlemen, that we as not as an Xbox fan base, as gamers, meaning PlayStation, meaning Nintendo, meaning PC, meaning Xbox, meaning everybody, everyone is involved in this. Everyone is under one umbrella. I have a very strong suspicion based on this post that I'm going to read to you from Mint Blitz right now that Halo is going to be coming back in one of the biggest ways possible. And I think that I know there's some people in the chat. I don't want to call out names, but some people want Chief to die. I'm sorry. You'll never get me on that team. Chief needs to live.
Coming for you, Chief. Black Viking. He needs to live.
Black Viking is one of them. There he is. Yeah. Okay. So you said it, so I'm going to say it.
Calling out names, BV. Coming for you. Leave Master Chief alone. Anyway. Go ahead.
So, I mean, look, I'm all about evidence-based conversation. You hear me talk about that all the time. Like that's actually a thing. And I wanna kind of lay these breadcrumbs not only for the panel but for the chat. Right now, it starts with. I mean, think about this for a second. It all starts with PlayStation, folks. I mean, think about this. Crispy said it. Kay said it. It starts with Helldivers 2 and the ODST collaboration. That is madness. But that is ultimately how we're going to look back at this. Now, walk with me on this, folks, right? what just happened prior to the Helldivers 2 big announcement yesterday? Fortnite got 2 Spartans, red and blue, and they brought
Yeah.
back Master Chief for another crossover. So if you missed out on Master Chief originally, go get him. Right? That's happening right now. Later this month, of course, Helldivers 2, and it's going to be basically an ODST takeover. That's ultimately what it's going to be. It's still going to be Helldivers, but everyone is excited because ODST is a part of it, right? But then it gets really funny, folks, because I have a story here, and of course, this is both a part of Mint Blitz's post and a story that was posted by Sam Piole of InsiderGaming.com.
Mm-hmm.
And it says this, ladies and gentlemen: PlayStation compatible Halo game reportedly found in new data mine. There's that new Halo game that's happening at some point or another, and it's launching on the PlayStation. Again, folks, you got to walk with me on this, because now I'm going to go back to Mint Blitz's post. Interestingly enough, that this story from Insider Gaming dropped, thanks to Rebs Gaming, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, he reported on that in late October, which is going to be the Halo Championships, that's going to be happening in Texas. It is almost but confirmed that Halo Studios is going to be showing what they've been working on. Now, some people had early on suggested it was going to be single player, but I don't think so, ladies and gentlemen. I do not think so. It is not a continuation of Halo Infinite either. What I think is going to happen at the Halo Championships in late October is they're going to show off the new Halo multiplayer that is going to be releasing on PC, PS5, and Xbox the same time. Now, I don't know if that is this year. Maybe it's in December. Maybe I don't think so, to be honest with you. That sounds like something.
You're talking multiplayer only.
Multiplayer, not single player. The single player is going to happen next year with Combat Evolved. This particular, because again, if you go again, I'm going to add all of these links to the show notes if you want to check out the stuff yourself. But so I'm going to read verbatim. I know I'm a little bit all over the place because I'm excited. Fortnite Halo crossover happening now. Helldivers 2 on the 26th. New Halo game being announced at Worlds, as it's called, late October. Halo will be on PlayStation. This was found out via Grunt API, and a multiplayer new Halo project in the works. Multiple Halo multiplayer projects in the works. I think Halo's coming back in a big way, and I gotta be honest with you. This could be another super ginormous gas game from Microsoft and Xbox in the form of Halo's big return. Brother, I think we're close. I know it sometimes seems like there is certainly no light in all of this darkness for Halo, but I'm thinking that we're back. Let's get your thoughts, man.
Honestly, Boom, I would sing the "Quit Playing Games with My Heart" song, but I leave that to Infinite Number to do that. So just imagine that real quick. Honestly, I'm a little salty when it comes to Halo. I have been for a while. To me, Halo is dead.
You have every right to be,
y'all heard me say that, right? Like to me, they fed only the parts that keep them making money, which is the multiplayer, which I understand that, right? No doubt. But there was so much potential with the single player, and even Infinite. Like it put such a sour taste in my mouth for the Halo franchise, the way they left it. And I've played the Halo franchise probably more than most. Like I've gone through that entire series at least 12 to 13 times, like from end to end, called the Master Chief Saga, from the Master Chief Collection, right? So every single player storyline, I've gone through it multiple times. I love that series. I love that storyline. I love the way where it goes and all of this. I did hear, and this was not no background stuff. Like Phil Spencer has talked about wanting to like have that trifecta happen again with a new generation, Halo, Gears, Forza, right? And we are heading towards a new generation. We already know that Halo Studios is working on something. Now, the thing that I find interesting that you mentioned is that this would be a multiplayer only type situation. Almost wow. Okay, well, you did that man dirty. You did that man dirty.
I took the elevator up and hit him right in the face with
damn, that was I couldn't even continue my train of thought. You did that man just dirty, so dirty. Anyway, that was dirty work. Anyway, so look, what I find is interesting about this is I can see it happen, because then you could separate the focus, right? And then have the single player be an event on its own, and then have the multiplayer be almost Warzone in that it can live on its own and have its own seasons and whatnot, right? I see the paradigm of separating the two launchers, if you will. Well, they already did it with Infinite, right? Like they could like really continue that paradigm here. I get that. I guess my question is, will people give them the reprieve they need in order to solidify themselves? Because historically, Halo has been the campaign and multiplayer, right? And when they tried to do that, even in beta form last time, people gave them a lot of crap for it. If you guys don't recall, right? When Halo, when they released the multiplayer a few months before they released it, it was like, this is an incomplete package. Either you release both of them or you don't release it at all. Remember all that? Like, it was a whole thing that had podcasters like reeling for weeks with all the back and forth and conversations, just because they chose to release one piece of the puzzle instead of the other one together, right? So my question is, will the community, the 2026 or whenever this comes out, community, be satiated with this offering? That's question one. Question two is, will Microsoft have their ducks in a row? Because that was what killed Halo Infinite, right?
Yeah.
A multiplayer lives and dies by the content, and Halo Infinite, as great as it was, had not enough in the tank. So as soon as people were done, they were like, that's it. And you did the loop a couple times, and that combat is still amazing, and the content that was there is still good, but there wasn't enough of it. And by the time there was enough of it, people had already gotten a bad taste in their mouth about the whole thing. So honestly, these are all lessons learned, right? So I would imagine that they, having another Halo-esque multiplayer, would come in there with the knowledge that, hey, we're not going to do what we did last time, right? Like this time, we're going to make sure that we have our ducks in a row. We're going to make sure that we have our seasons prepared. We're going to make sure all of it is ready to go. If that is ready to go, yeah, I see this thing becoming huge, like on Steam, on PC in general, on Xbox and on PlayStation. It would be effing huge. Now imagine, we live now in a world where, and I hate when people do this, but I'll follow along. We live now in a kumbaya world where everybody's all communicating, right? Imagine you start seeing interesting characters show up in these things, right? This is awesome. Imagine you see this multiplayer, and now you see, what do you see? You see Helldivers characters show up in it, as well as other things. It should be an interesting world. I think all of that is very cool, So that is exciting for me.
I can add a little bit more context to that. I mean, I look, I know like right now there's a lot of conversation. This is kind of just sidestepping the path for a second. So again, walk with me on this.
Okay.
One of the big community I don't want to say arguments, conversations that people are having, Battlefield 6, all of the men and women that are fighting look like real soldiers, right? They, they got the pulled up mask, you got the sunglasses. My biggest problem with that, and maybe it's me because I'm so used to Call of Duty, it's boring AF. It's just military people running around that look incredibly uninteresting. I'm sorry. Throw the virtual tomatoes. The destruction, great. Graphics, great. The character models are just.
So you like Blunt Man and Chronic?
I didn't buy them.
But you like that they're running around.
I like the fact that there are different characters running around. Like I said, I feel you. Seth, I was gonna say Seth Green, but Seth Rogen with that crazy laugh is running around shooting people in the back. I mean, so Now,
You
jumping back on,
you like seeing BBLs jiggling around as they shoot people. I see that.
I mean, I put it this way. I kind of side-eyed when I saw Nicki Minaj shoot me and I died. I'm like, I don't know so much about that, but I do like the characters that I bought. But now getting back onto the path of Halo, what I think, and this is such a crazy world we're living in. For Halo to get back to where it used to be, it is going to require the use of all platforms. Now, I don't know if Nintendo Switch could run it or it's even going to be a part of the conversation, but we definitely know it's coming to PlayStation 5. And I really do think that, look, you've heard other people say it. You have not really heard me say it, but I believe the console wars are over. I really think that it's just a moot point. Now, again, for a lot of people that use hate rhetoric for their channels, and that's fine if you do. I'm not a hater. I'm a congratulator. I think it's going to be hard to sell your brand because I think people are tired of it. I think people are honestly tired of, this versus the other. I think we're coming into a world where all games are going to be everywhere. We all have to get used to it. I know I've gotten used to it much sooner than I thought I would have. A lot of people moved towards like, hey, we don't care. Just give us good games. And you know what? That's fine. But I'll say this. I want to answer one of your questions. I'm going to bring Crispy Bomb in on his thoughts on all of the Halo information. You asked if it was ready. And I know that the track record for 343 wasn't great, right? Like you can ask any Halo fan and be like, I don't know, I'm nervous, right? When you say there's a Halo something coming, it's not that you're excited. It was like, oh God, I hope they get it right? Like you shouldn't have to think like that, but that's how a lot of Halo fans, including myself, thought, right? Like, oh my God, I hope they get it right? Well, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. They have, and I say Halo Studios hasn't said much. They're under new leadership. There's a lot of new blood there. They're doing things differently because the old way wasn't working. We all know the old way wasn't working because we saw it fail in front of our eyes, right? I think that, because again, this confirmation of sorts that they're going to be showing something at the Halo Championships in October, that came from Halo. That's not somebody that read it on some message board somewhere that someone just dropped in as that's confirmed. Like Halo Studios said they're going to be there. If they are if they're saying they're going to be there, I gotta give them the benefit of the doubt that they are ready. They are ready to show this multiplayer. That's just my take on it. But
I hope so.
I mean, hope so. We're a couple of months away. We will certainly see. I think it's the week of the 20th, if I'm not mistaken, for the Halo Championships. And again, it's a big event. I mean, it's one of the big events of the year for multiplayer for Halo. There's going to be a lot of eyes on it, man. If this thing hits, it could be back in the biggest way possible. I am definitely here for it. But Crispy Bomb, I want to get your thoughts on the Return of the King, Halo. Now, again, if you ask today's audience what their top 5 shooters of FPS shooters are, Halo is not even going to be in their top 10. That's just unfortunately the way it is. It would be in my top 5. I mean, I have not played in a while, to be honest with you. I've missed several of the operations because of other, commitments on other multiplayer games. But I'm ready to jump back in. And obviously, thanks to the Helldivers 2 announcement with ODST, it's got me all excited. So I think I'm going to jump back in over the weekend. Honestly, do you think that we could see Halo be a part of the conversation in 2025, 2026 for first-person shooters?
People are going to hate what I'm about to say, but I'm going to do it. How do you reinvigorate Halo, which has had crap content, and that's coming from your guys' mouth, and not obviously the crap part is not a part of it, but the content hasn't been there. Okay, so how do you do that and release it on PlayStation and from, people that you follow. Like I follow all the Gears people, you follow all the Halo people. Imagine them releasing just a multiplayer free to play on PlayStation, on PC, everything else, instead of, when you singularly do that like they did before and not have a free to play or content driven element, what happened? Okay, you have to bring the content.
Technically, the Halo, the multiplayer was free to play, but it wasn't on PlayStation, which is true. It was free to play and it was on PC. It just wasn't on PlayStation, which is a bigger market. So that may be the difference,
So how do you introduce people? Because here's the thing about Halo. If you have a bunch, because we always say, like, there's a lot of people, because if you look at their sales with PlayStation, a lot of people play multiplayer games on PlayStation. They just prefer PlayStation platform. Okay, because if you look at their sales for some of their big games, it's not quite what you would think they would be. So you go and say, okay, you have Call of Duty. Call of Duty's paid for. Okay, as of now, who knows if they change that? You have the Warzone aspect, but they're all first-person shooters. Well, what is not like any of them? Because it's a military shooter, but it's not. It's a futuristic military shooter. Halo has always been that. All right. And it's first person. And you release it free to play on there. On top of revamping and understanding that, hey, we need a roadmap. We need to make sure that we have content to drive the. Not, it wouldn't be sales. It would be sales on the back end, like a Fortnite. It is totally logical that they could use that to reinvigorate said ecosystem of what people love about Halo, but keep it Halo-esque. Like Helldivers doesn't sound bad. Like, why not do a collab with that? Like, I mean, they have, a similar aspect to it. We are clearly saying like ODST makes sense. Why not do it? I'm just saying, like, there's content that could be had if they went to a different model in at least adding PlayStation, because at the end of the day, like, PlayStation players are going to play what they're going to play. If they're playing Madden right now, they're playing Madden. If they're playing NBA 2K in a little while, they're going to play that. If they're playing a single player story driven, they're going to play that. But we don't see a lot of numbers from those games. We really don't. And that's where you say, like, you see them moving to a different model and saying, hey, like, MAUs and all these other things. These are things that they're looking at, but also why not? If Xbox is going to be gracious enough, they are already gracious enough to put Gears on there. Okay, now you be gracious enough to say, we're going to put Halo on there, and possibly and hopefully hype up whatever single player if it happens the way Boom is thinking. I really truly believe you're gonna have to do something a little different. And I don't think it's just selling it at a certain price. I think the logical thing is to reinvigorate and also add new people, is to go free to play and have content in the back end, because at this point they have burned too many bridges, in my opinion. That's my opinion. And they haven't seen enough growth the way they're doing it currently. So That's the way I look at it. And, you know, hopefully at the end, who the heck wants Halo or Gears or Forza to die? Like, that's why some of us got like Forza Motorsport, you know, like, and then they all of a sudden they put out this huge content map, which a lot of it was from previous years, and I'll leave it at that. But we have to realize that people need to be engaged, and it requires a lot of development time and also a lot of planning. And I think if that planning is done right, it can be a Helldivers, honestly. I mean, this looks like a total planning. Complete planning, collaboration between two companies that aren't supposed to like each other. I mean, why not? We're at that point.